العلم أشراف مطلوب وطالبه لله أكرام من يمشي على قدمه. العلم نور مبين يستضيء به أهل السعادات والجهال في الظلم.
And I'm selling it. نعم, I'm the seller and someone's buying the car. طيب. The car, it's a fairly, about 16 plate, 2016 plate. لكن on the clock, it has 150 miles, 150,000 miles. Now that is what, low or high? That's high. It has 150 miles. Then I go to a garage, I go to a friend of mine, I say, listen, turn the clock again for me. And he changes it to, مثلا, 60,000 miles. 60,000 miles. Then I sell it to a person. When I sell that car, is that transaction halal or haram? Why? There's tadlis. There's aib in there. There's aib in there. And that person has an option of the car, returning the car, or getting what is called arsh, or me paying the difference of how much that car would be. So the difference between 60,000 and 150,000 miles. However much the car would go down, the value of the car would go down, then I give him that much back. Is that understood? طيب. The next one, كل معاملة اشتملت على غرر وميسر فهي محرم. Every mu'amala that consists of gharar, ambiguity, and maysar, gambling, فهي محرمة, then it is muharram. Gharar, مثلا, gharar is that thing which you don't know the end result. You could find it or you could not find it. The example that the Shaykh mentions, and the fuqaha they usually mention, is مثلا, if a person has an abd, he has a servant, and the servant runs away. The person has a servant, he has an abd, and his abd runs away. He's not sure whether he's going to find that abd or not. Sah? He could find him, he could not find him, he might not find him. Sah? Selling the abd, there's what? Ambiguity surrounding it. There's ignorance surrounding the fact that whether you're going to find him or you're not going to find him. So selling that abd is not permissible. So I can't go and sell it to someone, sell an abd to someone and say, listen, I have a servant, he's not here at the moment, he's done a runner, but I'm going to give you a good price. I'm going to give you £1,000. I'm going to give him to you for £1,000. You find him, he's yours. Now that abd generally would have been about 5,000. طيب. Lakin he says now, I'm going to charge you £1,000. Where does the qarar come into it? Where does the jahala, the ignorance of knowing how much you're going to pay, where does it come into it? طيب. He may never come back. Who loses out in this case? The buyer, the one that is sold for, his £1,000 gone. He's معدوم شيء, يعني there's something that doesn't exist. طيب. Lakin, say I find him because I knew where he was, or I made I done a deal with him and he ran away in the first place. So I now know where he is. طيب. Who loses out in this case? The seller. How much does he lose out? £4,000. So there's gharar and there's gambling in that. طيب. Insurance. Is it permissible or not? Car insurance. Huh? Asl is haram. Why? Because there's maysar. You don't know if you're going to be ghanim or gharim, if you're going to benefit or if you're going to be out of pocket. Yeah? مثلا, yeah. So مثلا, الآن, your insurance could be £600 a year. £600 a year. If you don't get into an accident, do you get that £600 back? La. But you've paid £600, صح? What have you paid? What have you paid for? What is the manfa'a that you've attained from your £600? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can go 10 years without having an accident, and every year you could be paying £500, £600, £700. طيب. Like, the only reason why the scholars say it is permissible because it is a darura. It is a necessity. Well, you can't drive unless you have ta'meen, unless you have insurance. Like, in the asl of it is that it is impermissible. طيب. phone insurance in that case. Phone insurance. What is the ruling on phone insurance? Is it haram? Why? Number one, it has gharar in it. Maysir, طيب. And secondly, there's no darura. No one's going to say to you, if you don't have insurance on your phone, you can't have a phone. You can't use a phone. Is that understood? طيب. The next معاملة, the last one is كل معاملة اشتملت على ترك واجب أو إعانة على محرم فهي محرمة. Every transaction that consists of leaving out a wajib or إعانة على محرم, or helping one another to do something which is muharram, فهي محرمة, then it is muharram, it is impermissible. And the example that the fuqaha mention is, مثلا, what is the ruling of selling for men after the nida of يوم الجمعة? يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع. What is the ruling on men buying and selling after the adhan, the second adhan has been called يوم الجمعة? Huh? It is muharram, it is haram for men to buy and sell after the adhan has been called for يوم الجمعة, the second adhan, where the imam gets on the pulpit. Is that understood? So now that aqd is fasid. Why? Because you're leaving off a wajib. طيب. What about women selling at that time? Women and children selling? Huh? So is it haram in there for them? لا. أو إعانة على محرم, or helping people out to do haram. مثلا, the fuqaha, the example they use, say there's a fitna between a group of Muslims. We're in a Muslim country and there's a fitna between the Muslims. Or two tribes are now at war. And I sell arsenal, I sell weapons. I sell weapons, guns, bazookas, AKs and so on. طيب. Then I go to my friend, listen, a fitna is about to start. Whoever pays the bigger price, the better price, let's sell it to him. Selling weapons in general, what is the ruling? In general, in general. مثلا in London now, obviously London is illegal. Like if we're in a country where, in America مثلا, what is the ruling on selling guns and arsenal? Permissible. Why? Al-aslu fil ashya' al-ibaha. In general, selling weapons is permissible. Guns, knives, whatever they may be. Lakin, when there's a fitna, and there's two tribes that are now about to fight, then it becomes what? Muharram. Why? Because you're now helping them to do something which is haram. What is haram? Them killing themselves. Them killing themselves is haram. طيب. These four transactions, all of the mu'amalat that we're going to see that are muharram, they're going to come under one of these. So memorize these and understand these now. All of the ones that, the mu'amalat that are permissible come under this qaida. Al-aslu fil ashya' or al-aslu fil buyu' or al-aslu fil mu'amalat is permissibility. What's the difference between buyu' and mu'amalat? Go on. Mu'amalat is more general. Mu'amalat means dealings. Means dealings. مثلا wasiya is not exactly, or hiba is not exactly a bay'. It is a form of bay', like it is more of a mu'amala. Like in buyu' is buying and selling. Any questions on this? No. طيب. Allah Akbar. Kitaab al-Buyoo'. Yeah.
If you're selling a commodity, the asl of it is halal.
We're getting to that. Furthermore, write this last thing down. Write this last topic down. In terms of buying and selling, this is to do with the what? The actual contract. Sah? In terms of buying and selling, the actual item, it is one of three things. The actual item, one of three things. Number one, ما لا يستعمل إلا في المباح. That which is not used except in mubah, things that are mubah. ما لا يستعمل إلا في المباح. Something which is not used except in a way that is mubah. That item or that thing is jaiz, is permissible to sell. That item or that thing is permissible to sell. مثلا pens, books, chairs, tables. They're used for what? Things that are what? Mubah. So selling that is what? Mubah. طيب, the next is ما لا يستعمل إلا في المحرم. ما لا يستعمل إلا في المحرم. That which is not used or sold except in haram. Such as alcohol, it's going to be haram. Cigarettes, shisha, musical instruments, guitars and so on, pianos. All of these, in whatever way you use it, it is what? Muharram. In any way you use it, it is muharram. So that is muharram. By selling that item is muharram. What is left? ما يستعمل في الحلال تارة في المباح تارة ما يستعمل في المباح تارة وما يستعمل في الحرام تارة. That which at times it is used for haram and at times it is used for halal. What is the ruling on this? At times it is used for halal, it's selling as halal, and at times it is muharram. What is the ruling on this? الأصل في الأشياء الإباحة. الأصل في البيوع الإباحة. That قاعدة. طيب. However, if you have غلبة الظن, if you think that this person is going to use it in a way that is muharram, then it is not permissible. A simple example. I just mentioned an example. Weapons. The asl is what? Sometimes you can use it for halal and sometimes you can use it for haram. صح? For protection, it's halal. Like for killing people, it's muharram. صح? طيب. So that sort of thing, the asl is that it is permissible. Lakin, if you have ghalabatul dhann or you have yaqeen, certainty that this person is going to use it in a way that is muharram, then it is haram to sell it to him. مثلا in al-fitan, selling weapons during a time of fitan. Or مثلا selling grapes to an alcoholic, a person who you know is an alcoholic. Although nowadays they can get alcohol from any which way. Lakin in the past they would use it by getting grapes, via grapes. So it is not permissible to sell it to him. Not because selling grapes is haram, but because of what? The user, the person. Because the person. That answers the question. طيب. طيب. كتاب البيوع. كتاب البيوع. طبعا, we've already talked about its definition. It's حكم قال والأصل فيه, the Shaykh says, الأصل فيه الحل. Firstly, it's extremely important that every single individual learns this. It's extremely important. Why? Because every single one of us buys and sells. Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, لَقَدْ هَمَمْتُ أَنْ أَمْنَعَ الصُّرَّافَ مِنْ دُخُولِ السُّوقِ حَتَّى يَتَعَلَّمُ أَحْكَامَ الرِّبَا. I wanted to, يعني Umar, he had a ham, he desired, he had a thought of preventing the suraf, those people that deal with buying and selling currencies. I wanted to prevent them, or had a thought of preventing them from going into the market without learning the rulings of riba. Because if they don't know, they may fall into it. طيب. Lakin on that note, we're going to have to stop because the time is short. And the time is short, we're going to have to stop there. Lakin inshallah, we're going to carry on next week. طيب.